This is an overview of the WooCommerce product list by Unlimited Elements for Elementor. It's a widget that will help you present your WooCommerce products inside of your Elementor page builder. It can connect to all sorts of filter types. It can connect to pagination. It can do a lot of stuff. You can see over here sequence animation. And you can show custom products, manual selection, related products, or current query. I'm going to go over everything inside of the tutorial. Without no more further ado, let's get started. To get started, I'm going to search for the WooCommerce product list in the widgets pane inside of Elementor and drag and drop that into my Elementor canvas. What this widget does, it presents your WooCommerce products depending on the query that you choose. And you can choose all sorts of queries inside of the products query section. So let's open that products query section at the first part. And over here we have product source. The first one is selected to custom products, but you could also show related products, a manual selection of products, or current query products. That would be for maybe a shop page or an archive page. So you have a lot of types of sources over here, and you have a lot of ways to include and exclude your products inside of this list. The first example that I'm going to show is with custom products, and I'm just going to select one of my categories over here. So as you can see in include by, I have all categories selected. I'm going to change that, and instead I'm going to show only products that are assigned to the fitness category. And you can see that over here I have a dumbbell, a watch, a fitness set. And automatically what this widget does, it knows how to calculate the percentage of sale. So if this product is on sale, it's going to add a nifty little badge over here. And as you can see, it has two types of buttons. The first button is for add to cart. That will add the product to the shopping cart. Or you can add a link. And this link is going to open the product page, which is pretty awesome. Let's jump into the general settings and go over the settings over here. So as you can see, this is pretty flexible. You can turn on or off each part of the layout and start designing your layout however you want. So just as an example, if I want to turn on the rating, I can just turn on the rating over here, and you can see that there are stars over here under each of these titles to show the rating of each product. Another really cool thing is that you can decide where to show the category. So if you want, you can show the category above the title, under the title, stuff like that, and you can turn on or off each part. Let's jump into the next part, which is grid. And as you can see right now, it's just one column. But if I wanted, I could change this to 2, and now it's showing in 2 columns, and I can do this as many columns as I want. Of course, we have an option for the grid gap, for the gap between the items over here. So that's pretty cool as well. Let's actually leave this at 2. This is looking pretty good. Awesome. Inside of the button section, this is what we talked about earlier. You can decide if to show these buttons on top of the image or inside of the content. So just as an example, we have the product button and it's showing on the image overlay, but instead I want to show it inside of the content. So I'm going to change that to in content, and now you can see that the button has moved inside of the content. If I want to hide the add to cart button overall, I'll go to the cart button and choose hide. Now I can't see it at all. Now, a really cool feature over here is that you can connect a dynamic pop-up. What that means, it's a quick view of the product without having the website visitor leave the page. That makes the user experience a little bit more fun and maybe easy to navigate between the products that you have. So to do this, what we're going to do over here, instead of product button type, I'm going to choose dynamic product pop-up. The next part that you want to do is add that widget to the page. As it said, it requires adding the dynamic pop-up widget to the page. So clicking on the widgets pane, I'm going to search for dynamic post pop-up, and I'm going to throw that in the page. And over here, it's requesting for me to select a template. So what I'm going to do now is create a quick little template. And another cool thing that I'm going to do in that template is I'm going to include another post list. So we're kind of going to show another use case of using that post list. So to create that template, I'm going to go into my dashboard. Inside of templates, theme builder, of course you need Elementor Pro to do this. And I'm going to go into single product, and I'm going to add a new template. So click add new, and we're just going to create a layout. Of course you can use one of the predefined layouts, but I'm just gonna show you how this works without doing that. So let's go over here, add an image. Now we need to tell that image to bring our product image. So I'm going to dynamic tags, and I'm going to choose featured image. Now, since this is going to be a pop-up, I don't need it to be so wide. So in the container settings, I'm going to drop down the width to, let's say, 400 pixels. Back to the widgets pane, and now I'm going to add a title for our heading. So added a title widget, dynamic tags, and I'm going to use post title. That's going to present the name of the product. So over here, I'm going to change the style to black, and back to the widgets pane, and now I'm going to show the price. So over here, we should have product price. Let's move that inside. This I'm going to change to black as well. And let's add an add to cart button. Let's change that to black as well. So button, background color, black. Awesome. So this is looking pretty cool. And what I wanted to show you guys is that over here, we can also add a product list with the same widget. So before I'll do that, I'll just add one more heading. So let's go into heading over here, and let's write over here, more products you might like. And I'm going to change that to black as well. Let's make the typography a little bit smaller and add some padding on top so it won't be so close to that button. Next thing, I'm going to add a WooCommerce product list again. And this time, in the products query, instead of using what I used before, which was custom products, I'm going to use related products. And what that does, it shows products from the same term, the same category, but it won't show the product itself, the product page itself inside of the list. So as you can see, over here it's showing one of the products, and down here it's going to populate a list of more products the website visitor might like. I'm going to limit this to 3 products because I don't want the list to be too big. I'm going to publish the page. Now, as you can see, I didn't select any conditions. I just published the page. Maybe let's just jump over here and give it a name. So in the settings over here, we can give it a name. I'm going to call it a new product pop-up, and click save again. And that's it. We're done. So this is going to be the template for our dynamic pop-up. Jump back into the editor. Now, before I can see this over here, I need to refresh the page. So I'm going to refresh the page. And I'm going to go into the dynamic pop-up widget, which is up here. As you can see, this message shows only inside of the editor. Choose template. And I'm going to choose the template that we just created, which is new product pop-up, and select it. That's it. We're done. So let's click update to save and preview the page and click details. And now there's a dynamic pop-up showing a small mini view of the product. And down here, there's another list. Another product list showing more products the user might like. Now, you're probably asking yourself, this looks kind of weird and small. So now we can start designing it. So to design it, since we can't see it in the editor, there is a debug mode. So I'm going to go into the debug mode of the pop-up. We're in the pop-up. And I'm going to click over here, show pop-up. And now we can see it. And over here, we can even decide which product it's going to show. So I'm just going to choose one of the products from the list over here. So tennis ball. And now we can start designing this. So to design it, I'm going to jump into style. And I'm going to, first of all, let's snap it to the right and to the top. So vertical align start and horizontal align end. And jump back into the style tab. So over here, inside of overlay, I'm going to choose 0. And inside of pop-up, I'm going to make this a little bit wider so we can have more content over here. And in height, I'm going to do VH so it can be just 100% of the screen over here. Click update to save. And let's preview it in the live mode. So let's click on fitness set. And now it's showing a quick view. You can add it to the cart if you want. You can even navigate between the list over here. So you can see these little kind of arrows inside of the pop-up. That allows you to navigate the list. And as you can see, we have another product list over here, which is showing more products you might like. So that's just showing you so many ways you could use this. So the next demonstration I'm going to do, let's delete this overall. So I'm just going to delete everything we made, and we're going to make a new example. So the next example and the stuff I want to show is filters and remote controls and syncing. So let's add another product list to our page. And this time I'm going to show maybe let's show different types of products. So this time I'm going to show men products and women products. Awesome. Now look at this. When you have two categories, you're going to need to change the include by terms from and to or, because what you want to say is men or women, not men and women. So over here we have a list of all the men and women products in our website. Awesome. Let's add two types of filters. Before we add filters, what we need to do is go into post pagination and filtering, and over here enable post filtering. The filter behavior is going to be Ajax, and pagination, what we want to select is use the pagination widget. Awesome. So back to the widgets pane, I'm going to search for filter tabs or tabs filter, and over here you can see that it's adding a nice little filter over here, but it's showing the wrong categories. It's showing categories from posts, and that's not what we want. We want it to show the categories from our products. So inside of term selection, I'm going to select over here product, and in the taxonomy, I'm going to select product category. And now it's going to show all of the categories from my products. Once again, if we want to limit this to show only the products that are showing over here, what we could do, there's two ways of doing it. There's the easy way and the hard way. What I think I'll do is I'll show the easy way. So over here inside of filter settings, what I'm going to choose is sync to post widget after load. So this means the filters will sync to the post widget after the page is loaded. So let's choose that. Inside of the editor, we can't really see this. So I'm going to click update again. And I'm going to refresh the page. And now you can see that once it reloads, it shows only the relevant stuff. So that's just one example if I want to show only men. Now, another way of using this is in the terms selection. So over here in the terms selection, I'm going to do include by specific terms, and I'm going to select men and women. So this is just a more precise way of doing this. And now even inside of the editor, it will look exactly like it's going to show in the front view of the page. So that's just another way of doing it, and maybe a little bit more precise, and maybe you'll prefer doing it this way because now it's not going to show a really long list inside of the editor. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add pagination. And this is really easy. This is just like we've done the filters over here. So I'm just going to throw in the post pagination, click update to save, and refresh the page. And that's it. Now we have a way to paginate. And by the way, look how nice that is. Once you move to a different page, it scrolls up automatically to the top, just to show you where you are. So that's really cool. And let's actually go over here as we did before in the post list and change the grid columns to 2. So the list won't be so long. And inside of products query, if you want to limit the number of products showing on each page, I'm going to limit it to 6 just so we can see the pagination over here. So I'm going to click on the widget. In products query, I'm going to go into the maximum post and choose 6. So now you can see that everything is loading in the page and the user doesn't need to scroll down. So that's pretty cool stuff, right? Awesome. The next thing what I want to show is how we can maybe use this product list to navigate a different widget. So I'm going to add another widget to the page. Let's add, let's see how I'm going to do this. This is using the new containers, so I need to get used to it. So let's add an inner container over here. And let's move these inside. And I think this is also an inner container over here. Let's delete the post pagination. Yeah. And I'm going to add a slider. So let's do post slider. I'm going to drag that inside of here. And sorry, not post slider. We need product slider. So let's search for product slider. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the post list or the product list to navigate the product slider. So it's going to take a couple of steps to do this, but eventually we'll get there. So let's move the tabs over here inside of this container, and over here in the outer container, I'm going to choose a different layout. It's going to be a row reversed layout. So, or maybe let's do, okay, we can leave it that way. So we have the product slider on the left side and we have our list on the right side. I'm going to use the drag and drop over here just to make the right side smaller. And over here in the right side, in the grid, we'll choose 1, just so we have a nice little list over here. And now what we need to do is sync between the query between these two. So first of all, I'm going to go in the product slider, turn off the autoplay because that's going to drive us crazy if we're going to leave that on. And now I'm going to go into the products query and do the same thing. I'm just going to select the same terms. So over here, include by, we want men and women. As we did before, don't forget to change this to or, otherwise it won't show anything. So now you can see that the first one over here is this guy, and he's the first one over here, which is pretty good. That's what we wanted. And the next thing what we're going to do is we're going to limit this to the same number. So over here on the right side we had 6, so inside of the slider we also want only 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome. Now I haven't touched the styling too much, and this is going to be a good opportunity to sort of go into the styling and show you guys how you can style this. So back to the list widget, and inside of layout, let's turn off the buttons, hide and hide. We don't need those. And inside of style, we can start styling this. Now you can see there's a bottom border, so maybe let's take that off. We don't need that one. And padding, let's make it equal in all sides. Let's maybe add a background color if we can. Item background. That looks pretty good. And let's make the image smaller. So going into image, and maybe let's make it 80 pixels on 80 pixels. Over here you have also radius, so if you want to make it like a circle, you could do that as well. So this is starting to look like a sort of a minimized list over here, and this list is going to use us to navigate the right side over here. Let's try to move this. Not sure why that's not snapping, but that's an Elementor thing. So maybe over here we can change that full width. Let's do it 70%. Okay, that's what I wanted, just to make this a little bit smaller. So next thing what we want to do is connect between these two. To connect between these two, we need to turn on sync. The sync settings, if you click on the widget, that's inside of connect widget settings. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to enable sync. Now later on I'm also going to add a remote connection, so let's turn that as well. So we've turned it on over here on the right side. We need to do the same thing inside of the slider. So we've done it in one place. Now we're going to do it in the second place. And we're pretty much done actually. But I just want to show like a different style when this is selected. So I'm going to click again, jump into the style tab, and you can see over here you have normal and active. Inside of active, I'm going to add a border with 2 pixels and make that black, just so we can see the selected item over here. Click update to save, and let's jump back over here. And now this list is navigating our slider, which is pretty awesome, right? This list is a little bit big, so let's leave only 4 items in the list. So if I do that, I need to do it in both widgets. So content, product query, change that to 4. And I'm going to do the same thing over here with the products query, change it to 4. Now, I want my filter to filter both of these. So also over here, I'm going to turn on the filter. And now, if I'm going to check the page, first of all, you can see I can even use these arrows and it's going to navigate the list. So this is going two ways. That's why it's called synchronized. So if I click on the list, it's navigating the slider. If I navigate the slider, it's navigating the list. Awesome. Let's choose the filter. So let's move to woman, and you can see that it's filtered both of the widgets. Now that's pretty amazing. So that's about that. Oops, I clicked on one of the products. And the next thing what I want to do is I want to add a remote control. So actually, let's try adding another container on top of here. And inside of that container, I'm going to add two types of widgets. The first widget is going to be arrows. And the other one is going to be a counter. So let's search for a remote counter, put that inside. Now, if I want to make these side by side, what I think I need to do is over here in the inner container, I need to choose horizontal and justify the content space between. So you can see that now that's moved over here, and align items to the center. So that's the new that was like a quick introduction to the new containers. So over here inside of style, I'm going to make the current one a lot bigger. Otherwise, this looks weird. And click update to save and preview the page. Awesome. So what do we have over here? We have a lot of stuff going on. We have a WooCommerce product list, a WooCommerce product slider, remote control arrows, a remote control counter, and filters that filter both of them. And these two widgets are synced together. So there was a lot of information inside of this tutorial, but I've kind of wanted to show you all the possibilities, and it's actually endless. I mean, I could go on and on and on and show you an endless amount of use cases that people are using this and taking advantage of their websites. So I want to thank you guys for whoever has watched till the end of the video. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for trusting us in the product and using unlimited elements to take advantage of Elementor. See you guys in the next video. Of course, if you have comments, suggestions, requests, you can post them in the comments and we'll try to be as responsive as possible. Have a great day.